You ready to go?
Ready? Good morning. The Finance Committee meeting is called to order at 9:49 on Monday, April 29th. I apologize, we had some logistics. Every member is present, that being Alderwoman Finlayson to my right and Alderwoman O'Neill to my left. At this time, I will accept a motion to approve today's agenda, which is basically the start, finalizing community grants and the start of quote-unquote deliberations.
Move approval of the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. At this time, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, April 25th.
Motion to approve 4/25/24 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so at this time, we'll start with finalizing the community grants where we left off.
Madam Chair, may I take a point of personal privilege before we begin?
Absolutely.
I had a very unfortunate situation on Thursday and fell ill actually during this meeting, and I cannot say thank you enough to everyone for their kindness and their care. I fought having to be taken out by ambulance with everything that I had until the pain was insurmountable. So, but everyone came to my aid, and Caitlin is my angel in disguise because she could predict what I needed next, including the barf basket. And she was, I mean, you could tell that she was an elementary school teacher, and she handled it with aplomb, you know. So I just want to say, first of all, I apologize for such a terrible disruption to the meeting. Finance is never fun, but it's never gotten me to the point where I wanted to get sick to get out of it. And I apologize to the people who are waiting to come in to give their very important presentations, to my committee members who carried on. And Julian, you know I owe you big time, and I will not forget. But for everyone in city government who reached out to me, it took me 2 days to respond to all the text messages and calls and emails that I got checking up on me. And to everyone, thank you. I felt extremely well cared for. And our paramedics are the best. And I sat in the emergency room for some 6 hours and watched many come and go, and our folks are the absolute best. So Chief Romali and Captain Ray, I know that's not your last name, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting it at the moment, and everybody, I owe you a debt of gratitude because you took excellent care of me throughout the entire experience. And I'm back with a brace, but I'm good. My dad said you don't keep a good woman down, and I'm living that lesson. So it's all good. So just to thank you to everyone for the care and concern last week.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I just have to quickly say I still feel bad about it. I had no idea what was going on, and we were discussing community grants, which we were like waiting for it. I'm like, what is all that noise? And I very rudely said, shh, while she was in dire pain. I'm so sorry. That was rude on any accord. And also, they didn't leave you, didn't they? They didn't leave you, the paramedics,
They
right?
stayed with me, and we always have a discussion about how long they have to stay in the emergency room when they take someone in. And so I was very concerned about the time, and I kept saying, are you sure you don't have to be somewhere else picking up somebody else more important? But they didn't have other calls, fortunately, and they stayed by my side all afternoon, and not just by my side, but cared for me to make sure that I was getting the service that I needed. And so, like I said, they are the best, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was, thank you for saying that. Okay, so.
So they did put in a bid for, to make sure we fully funded their budget.
Yeah, they do. I know, they went above and beyond.
No, they did.
I
No,
tell ya.
they really did not. I said that. I said that.
Oh, gosh, no. Yeah. Okay, so let's complete this community grant section. Oh, here, Caitlin, do you want to take this? Okay. So I took initiative to start the discussion. I'm using the revised table, and I just sent an amendment on a Word document with my changes. And if you allow me, I can move that. So I guess we'd be calling this Amendment 1 to Appendix E of Ordinance, hello ordinance, what number are we, 7, I think, by memory? What is the budget ordinance? Yeah, 07-24. So I thought I would go over my tweaks, and then whoever else has some revisions will.
Madam Chair, do we have a copy? Did you send us a copy of that?
I emailed a Word document to everybody last night, but I probably didn't have time to print it out.
So you had to get
Okay.
Oh, is it on? Is it? You?
your email.
I looked for it last evening.
Here you go.
And couldn't.
Is that what you're looking for?
You did
Right
because you responded, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't have my note, these are just my notes.
Okay.
So let me begin. My objective was not to change the bottom line. And I went through and the way I took notes was that I highlighted, as they presented. I was looking at two things, what we did give them last year, and if there was a reason to increase it from last year, and also those who asked for a lot. Of course, everybody asked for a lot, but there were some where the discrepancy of what they asked for and what we gave them was, to me, unfortunate. So just very simply, when I wanted to add money, then I chose to see where I could take it from. So the first one was the Annapolis Kappa Scholarship Fund. I didn't see any other community grant that really addressed education for kids at that age, and I just strongly felt we needed to give them more money. So I added $3,000 to that number. And then going all the way down to Blacks of the Chesapeake, two reasons there. Number one, they did ask for the $38,000, and number two, Blacks of the Chesapeake is it's part of our historic legacy, and we really need to elevate that, keep it out there, keep that history timely and available to people, not just, up in a shelf somewhere. So that I just added $2,000 there. Okay, so I'm just going down the list. Co-op Arundel, the logic there was I didn't see any reason to increase their grant from last year, so I took it down $2,000. The Fort Meade Alliance Foundation, I'm sorry, geographically, I saw no reason, from what they served. I didn't see any reason to contribute because of their, geographic outreach. So I basically deleted that grant by $2,000.
I did the same, just so you know.
Okay. And then Hope for All was the same logic. I didn't see any reason to increase their grant from last year, so I notched them down $3,000. And keep in mind, I'll be very honest, I was actually looking, for money so that it would be a net zero. But there was, my deducts I thought were justified. And then last but not least is Serenity Sisters. I added $2,000 because number one, what they've accomplished is absolutely amazing. And number two, it is the only recovery center, quote unquote, recovery center within the city limits. So I just gave her another $2,000. So when you add up those, it's a net zero. So $3,000 3 adds, if you will, and 3 deducts. So if there's any questions, I can try to decipher my notes.
Madam Chair, if I might, I appreciate the recommendations that you are making, and I concur totally and would have come up. Usually I'm the one who goes through to pick out. So I really appreciate this. And I would move that we give a favorable recommendation to the Tierney Amendment 1 to Exhibit E
Okay.
of the budget.
I'll second.
Oh, okay, great. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you. I think we all feel the same way about Angel. So, do you have any amendments?
I don't have any amendments at this time, no. I am, what we just did approve, gives a favorable to all the committee's recommendations with your enhancements.
Okay. So Alderwoman O'Neill, if you had a duplication, maybe you can revise your amendment to the net adds that you did, or net changes that you did. Would that make sense? Right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll take out my duplication.
Which one
Please.
was it? I forgot. Fort Meade? I forgot already.
Fort Meade, I removed.
Removed, okay. Yeah, so that's
Co-op Annapolis, I also deleted. Not deleted,
How much did you reduce co-op? Which one is that? Alphabetically? Co-op Arundel?
yes.
Okay. Amendment 1 reduces it by 2,000. Had you reduced it more?
Yes.
To get to your math?
Yes. I actually reduced it down. So you reduced it down to what they were given last year.
Correct.
To what, I'm sorry?
I had reduced it down
To 10,000.
yeah, to what they had been given
Right.
last year.
I'm willing to leave them at 10,000. I had reduced them down to 5.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing what you're saying.
I had reduced them down to 5, but I'm willing to leave it at 10.
Okay. So then you have to redo your math a little, right?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
I also reduced Farm Unity.
Okay, are you okay with the math now? I'm sorry, I'm assuming we all agree that we don't want to change the bottom line,
Right.
right?
Well, unless we come up with where
Unless we
the
come up with a
funding's going to come from.
So,
I reduced Farm Unity. While it's a very noble cause, it did not sound like it was touching Annapolis per se. It was county-based. They've given seedlings to the Phoenix Center to grow, to put into their gardens, which are benefiting county schools.
yeah,
So I actually reduced them down as not receiving one.
Farm Unity.
Yes.
The only thing, I'm sorry, I, like a comment, can I comment? The only comment, and clarify, because I'm not familiar with the food distribution as much as you are. I have a note here that they provided food, there was some relation between them and Backpack Buddies.
It was Backpack Buddies going to Sarah's house, which is also in the county.
Okay.
It was not going to a
Nothing in the
Annapolis
city.
school,
Okay.
is the notes that I took. Again, I completely understand their program. I am all about,
May I ask a question? Does not the Phoenix Center serve Annapolis area schools?
it does, but the point that she made in her presentation was that they've given the Phoenix Center seedlings to grow to
Right,
take
I
back to
heard,
their
yes.
farm. And their farm food is given to Crofton schools. So the only thing Phoenix is doing is growing the seedlings.
Right.
It's not necessarily benefiting, those seedlings are not going to Phoenix Center to grow and become plants.
But the students at the Phoenix Center are learning growing food. Are they not? Is it not the students who are participating in the growing
They're raising
activity?
seedlings.
Right.
But the food is then going to a Crofton program. So
Don't the
To me, I
seedlings
thought it
need
was
to? Okay,
negligible. That was my,
okay.
if the seedlings were being grown by Phoenix Center and then the students were reaping the awards, basically, of those seedlings by getting the vegetables, that would have swayed me, but
Would those vegetables not be, they couldn't grow without seedlings. So if there's no seedlings to begin with, there's no food at the end. So I'm not sure how they're not important. That was just a, so that's your justification. So
then I would probably put it down to $500 for the cost of the ceilings, if I were to take it down. I didn't think $2,000 for somebody to grow seedlings to then go back and benefit another program where the food is basically being distributed outside of the city was in our best interest. Whereas I took the $2,000 that was, and I added it to the
Another
Live Water Foundation, Live Water. I don't know which one it is. Does anybody know exactly? Is it Live Water or Live Water?
It's live.
It's Live
I
Water?
think they say live.
well,
I was told it was Live Water.
Wait a minute, hold on a second, where is it?
I guess the point I want to make is that this is an invaluable experience for the students, and they're learning how to grow, and they're learning how to give back. It may not be giving back in their own community, but it's a lesson that they learn. So I think that has tremendous value. So, but
In your,
can we get these amendments? Do we have them in writing? Did you send them to us?
I didn't send them because
Yeah.
after
In
Ellie did
fairness,
hers, I was working
she had
yesterday.
to
when I
tweak
got
them a little bit, so she didn't have.
I'm happy to
put-
tweak them. That was where I took the 2,000 and I took it from them and added it to the Live Water Foundation because their presentation talked about teaching our city children to swim.
Yeah, that was huge.
And to me, that is more valuable. They can, if they were to receive closer to their ask, they would be able to help 95 youth as opposed to their, I think she said 37. And they're serving Hakka communities, the Stanton Center, and the Box of Rain program through the Maritime Museum.
General question, because of your knowledge of the food distribution, when you reduced, what was it?
The Unity Garden.
Yeah.
Farm Unity.
So is there any increase in another food organization so that, what my concern, not concern, but we have, if you go down the column, we have the food bank, Farm Unity, Heritage, and other food initiatives, Feed a Healthy Mind and Heritage Food Pantry. I'm just curious, and Marshall Hope, did we, just out of curiosity in your review, did you add more to one of those to kind of emphasize the kind of how we distribute food? And if you saw no need, it's fine. I was just curious, do we give a lot to the big supply, which is the food bank?
Is this online? Can I blow?
I mean, we don't give a lot to the food bank. Or I would certainly do that. I just, in my very quick deliberation, and I will say that was still looking through, but in my very quick, I took the 2,000 from them and added it to the Live Water.
No, that's fine.
Live Water,
That's fine.
because I felt, after we were talking about the importance of people doing work in our communities, I felt that that was more directed at the Annapolis community than Anne Arundel community at large, Anne Arundel County at large.
Got it. I totally agree I do agree on that, because I think the Hakka was what rang with me, as well as the Stanton Center, but Hakka, the swimming pool and everything. Hopefully it's opened, but is it?
I'm not clear on what you're saying, Madam Chair.
Their support Live Water Foundation offers swimming lessons at HACA.
Well, right now, Hackett doesn't have a pool.
I know, that's what I just thought of, but
Well, I was, outside of this discussion, I would like to reach out to Live Water and say, hey, would you not only teach swim lessons, but be manager of the pool? So, I mean, I think that an organization that's trying to teach kids to swim, if they were to have a pool at their fingertips, seems to be like a nice partnership.
I totally agree, and if they had $60,000 to make that doable, that would be awesome. But that is the cost right now to get that pool operational for the summer. And there are plans to try to facilitate that. But we should know that that is what it's going to cost if someone's going to run the pool during the summertime. So our right hand needs to know what the left hand's talking about.
so how much was the ad you took away from one and gave
I
to
took
the other?
2,000 from one
Oh,
and
okay, we're just talking 2,000.
gave 2,000 to the other. So my number stayed the same.
Madam Chair, I would like to see either we take these individually or that we have a copy. We've always asked for copies of stuff. I mean,
Yeah, well, in fairness, I just came up with this last night, so.
but you put yours in writing last
Yeah,
night, so
yeah,
and
but I didn't know if Carmen didn't know to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was going through because I thought we were
We were gonna
discussing
do-
today back and
which
forth.
I thought would be very tedious if we went through line by line, but, I'm really okay with her going through them individually.
are you in agreement with everything so far?
It was just the transfer. Well, we're not gonna, let's just hear them and then we can. see
Okay.
Let's just hear them and then we might go back. So yeah, keep going. I'm trying to take notes. So you took 2 and then you added 2 to, okay.
I had questions about the Maryland Latinos Unidos, because they were not one, I believe they were not one that came and presented to us.
Thank you.
They didn't, hold on. Yeah, I'm hoping to go to my original Maryland Latinos. I have them down as presenting 23rd, but did they?
Oh, yes, they did, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I question that because their headquarters are in Baltimore City. And yes, they have bilingual services, but I was questioning how much they actually did in Annapolis. They hope to serve 150 women in Annapolis. I don't know if that's actually happening. And I didn't. So it was a question. It was a big question mark for me to see if either of you had taken a look at that.
Vicky, chime in if you have any, Assistant City Manager, if you have any knowledge of some of the questions that Alderwoman O'Neill is bringing up. I don't know how involved you were in, I didn't even think about inviting Alicia.
Yeah, I am definitely not the best person to answer those questions, but we can get answers.
Should we invite Alicia in? Ladies, should we invite Alicia in?
I mean, if she has answers, I hate to put her on the spot. I mean, she doesn't know, part of the issue has been knowledge of the organizations and what they do and their history with the city.
Yeah.
And if she can lend some explanation, absolutely. I just don't want to put her on the spot, like I
So-
said, so.
This was the geographic outreach was what you were questioning on them, and we didn't see it in the backup.
I mean, they did, yeah. I mean, she's sat here in front of us and said she was hoping to help 150 women in Annapolis. But I am questioning their headquarters being in Baltimore and how much they're actually doing in Annapolis.
Okay.
You know.
Well, let's put that an asterisk and get our questions for Alicia, and we'll bring her in to answer at the end. Let's see, so she doesn't have to sit through.
Madam Chair, may I raise another issue that I think we need to be considering? The purpose of our grants are to support those organizations that are supporting the city, things that we cannot do. It feels like we're getting into the area of proposing startups or organizations that want to do great things, but they don't have a record. And so, you know, as I said on Thursday, if we want to create a incubator type fund where we give startup organizations who might want to do something or think they can do something, I think that should be a different pot of money than taking funds from organizations that are well-established in the city and having significant impacts in the city. So just want that to be out there.
So that would be perhaps a recommendation of the committee.
Yeah, that would be great.
If only that task force that we had a resolution for last year actually happened, we would actually have really good data. So one of my recommendations is that we actually form the task force this summer and have the task force do all that it was
And
asked
that
to
could be
do.
one of the topics, yeah.
Correct.
That's a good point, is that we have our own ideas, but the objective of the task force should bring them together, right, and make their recommendations. So, we'll bring Alicia in on to verify, you know, where they are in their outreach, confirm,
Correct.
yeah.
One of my questions that I had was, I believe there were several organizations that are asking for grants that are also grant funded through the Adopt a Neighborhood. Is that a correct belief, or is that not?
Yes, Street Angels is one. The All-Stars are on this list as two. But I contend that the Adopt a Community grants causes the organizations to, one, work with other organizations, and their responsibility is to show that they are having an impact in the community. While we know these organizations have impacts, it's not quantified. Very different from the Adopt a Community. The Adopt a Community group of 10 meet, if not monthly, every 2 to 3 months. And Ms. Buckland, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They share resources, and they partner with one another in their respective communities to create a groundswell of support, really for all of the communities that are in need. So I see them as very different and very much more accountable. The groups that are in these community grants, as I said, many of them, like the All-Stars, are legacy groups. They've been around for 20, 30 years and have served every aspect of the Annapolis community, not just the Wilbourn Estates, which is where they're working primarily today, but they have kids from every corner of the city. I mean, they have over 250 kids that they work with on an annual basis. And so this speaks to the broader, the community grant targets their funding in a specific community. So does that answer your question?
Not really.
You asked if
Because-
they get money in both pots, yes, and I
Correct.
explained the difference.
Right. But to me, the difference is both pots are basically taxpayer money.
Well, everything's taxpayer money.
Okay, so they're basically getting twice out of the pot, even though their mission for one might be different than their mission for the other. And I think that we need to know that, so that if Street Angels or All Stars or is Superior Future one that also is in the neighborhood?
Well, there's one that called themselves Community, was it the Newtown Community Development Corporation?
That is one of the organizations, and I can speak to, if you'd like, what their mission is. Their organization, and they received a grant from us probably 10 years ago for $20,000. And they have been doing continuously workshops in the community to empower the adults to get out of the community. Job opportunity trainings, health-related trainings. We did Narcan trainings, and they have used that funding from many years ago over all of these years. And so now they're back to ask for not another 20,000, or maybe they did ask for 20,000, but a small amount to keep them going.
So that one is a community effort. I guess
Adopt a Neighborhood and a
It's not
community?
part of Adopt a Neighborhood.
It's not.
It is not.
that's my question, okay.
Yeah.
So can I rephrase it? So Assistant City Manager, and maybe this is an Alicia question, so we'll put it in the parking lot for her. When we were reviewing these applications, did we consider that they were getting money for another initiative? I mean, is the line, I think what Alderman O'Neill's concern is the line blurry? Or did we say, okay, this is their community effort and this is, what the nonprofit is focused on?
I know that they were aware of those crossovers.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, to what extent that influenced the recommendation amount, Aisha would have to speak to that. I don't know, but I do know they are aware.
Okay, so that's good. So then you could say that there's no duplication. Again, this might be something for the task force. It's a very, that's like introducing a new guideline. If they get this, then they're not going to get that. Right? I mean,
Yeah, well, let's just,
right.
I'm just asking if one person is getting a grant, I'll throw out there. If Street Angels is getting a grant from the Adopt a Community for, I don't know how much, I don't have those numbers in front of me, for their grant, and Street Angels is also asking for a grant through community grants, those have to be combined. We have to look at them because in a sense, they're coming from the same pot. They might be two different programs, but the money is coming from the same bank account.
Right.
And I think that that is important, that it's considered, because when you're talking about whether somebody, for instance, the Literacy Council asked for $4,000, if I'm correct.
Okay.
That's what I have.
How come I can't find them? What does it begin with? It's not L.
It's Anne Arundel
it's Anne
Literacy
Arundel
Council.
Literacy Council. They asked
We're
for
giving them
4,000.
Two. They're also working with Spanish-speaking individuals. 39% of the people that they work with are Spanish-speaking. 73% of the people they work with are women. So if I compare Anne Arundel County Literacy Council, their adult education versus, for instance, going back to our Maryland Latinos, they're in a sense doing the same thing, but one organization is operating, in Annapolis with their headquarters there. That was probably not a good comparison for getting two different amounts from the same pot. And I guess my question is, can we have a list of those who are receiving the Adopt a Community grants
Madam Chair,
and how it's compared to the people that are being recommended to receive community grants?
Okay. Well, we would need to before we finalize your amendment. I assume your amendment takes them down to 0, or is it to be determined?
Mine were suggestions because that's how we did it last year. We discussed
Right.
the different
Right.
amounts.
Right. But it is based on well, okay, number one, this is what we know, is that the Office of Community Services is aware that they do get another grant, which I think is good, right? And then the question for Alicia is, how do they weigh that? And then it seems like your other way of looking at this too is on the list themselves, where's their duplication of what they do? That's kind of separate than community grants, right? So there's two things, yeah. So we definitely need Alicia on the community grants. On the second one, that's definitely a judgment. Which one was that? Did you, so you have a general comment about community grants, but what was the next thing?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because we're just going to discuss them like we normally would. We
Right.
just didn't know where you left off.
Yeah, no, I'm just, as I was weighing through them and trying to weigh against their presentation that they gave,
Yep.
the information that we had, and I know that I keep harping on it, but an annual report really is the only way that we can actually see data. And when so many of them don't have an annual report, it's hard. Listening to their presentations, I would like to give them all fully funded, but it's really hard to see, back to Alderwoman Finlayson's point, like, are we going on hopes of, some of the startups and some of the things that they wish to do, or are we really looking to further fund and assist those that have, a positive track record? And there's a lot to digest in both scenarios. Like, in some ways it's good. There's some things that our community needs that have been left unmet. I believe that, us having a Hispanic liaison will do a lot. And that position will do some of the things working for the city. If we use that description of what the community grants for, community grants are for things that the city can't do. Well, if we're bringing in the liaison who is helping to get these people, our Hispanic families and communities to attach to the services that they need and the education aspects that they need, that's great. Then we don't need the outside community because we're paying somebody to do that. Do you see where I'm trying to get at? I'm trying to make it.
Well, I don't know. I do. But then keep in mind that we're not fully funding them.
Which goes back to there are some organizations that I feel like we should need to be fully funding. Like, as you said, adding to the Blacks of the Chesapeake. They're the only ones that are doing that, doing the environmental education for that particular pocket of our community. And in some of these cases, when they were presenting, if they were to receive the grant they requested for, they would be able to complete that program. And in many cases, when they're requesting, $40,000 and we're giving them 13, we're getting them a portion of the way there. And I think that we need to take a good hard look at perhaps, if Newtown 20 was able to take $20,000 5 years ago or however many years ago and be using it to deliver their programs up until this time, and now they're asking for more, to me, that seems we fulfilled. And maybe we fulfill a portion of those who've asked fully this year. And then next year, we're taking a look, and those that have reapplied, maybe we fulfill their request fully. And the other ones that were fulfilled this year, maybe take a year off. That way, with our very small total sum of community grants, we are impacting organizations at a higher level.
So far.
That is my suggestion. So this is where, okay. I think that what you're bringing up is something and just stop me if I'm off track here. I think what you're bringing up and what I hear is community grants versus these grants. I hear overlap, consolidation of efforts, if you will. And then I also hear the concern of basically delegating what we can't do to an organization. So those are, and I don't know if there's a fourth topic, but I don't know if there's any way we're going to do that math today, because it really is based on philosophy, I guess. So one suggestion I have is, these are good things to talk about, but I don't think we can keep going, but I'm not sure if we're going to come to any resolution. We'll have a good discussion about it. But one thought I have is that you do craft a resolution chunking it up like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I'm happy to.
Do you know what I'm saying, Alderwoman Finlayson? So it might be three amendments, I don't know, but this is, but we could get some more information today, so know what the next step is. But I'd like to hear more. I just thought that could be what we do.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
this has been a long-standing program that the city has had. Okay, so repeating my often spoken lecture. It used to be 800,000, it's down a little over 400,000. These organizations support the city where we cannot support ourselves. I do not want us to get into a position where we're evaluating these organizations unless we actually get to know these organizations. There are organizations who are in this list who are, yes, in the Adopt a Community grant recipient list, and they do different things. And to now want to lump them together may work for us, but it may not work for them, because all of these organizations, every single one, seeks funding outside of Annapolis funding. Most of them have to leverage whatever we give them for other funding. When they go to the county or the state or the feds for funding, one of the questions asked is, what is your local jurisdiction doing? How are they supporting you? And while we may not be supporting them with big dollars, they can at least say that their local is funding them. We used to give $100,000 to the Community Action Agency, and they used to get far more millions than they get now. They were the premier organization in the city during COVID. And the county executive recognized that and gave them additional funding to disperse throughout the city. And so, we don't know a lot about what these organizations do. We get a cursory picture. And it's unfortunate that we didn't have everything in advance of their presentation, or that we didn't have an opportunity to ask them questions. Because we didn't know, unless you had time to go back and look at their report, how many people they were serving. What's the success of their programs? And most of them have that data. But are we asking for it? So we can make changes, but we should not be in a position to evaluate these programs. They're all tax dollars. And I'm hearing from the community, why are you doing this to certain organizations? We're not trying to. We have become a place to go to for funds. Fort Meade comes down here and asks us to fund their programs because they know that we're willing, but there's got to be a line drawn. Some years ago, we didn't fund any organizations that were new. We didn't fund any organizations that were not directly located in the city of Annapolis. That has changed somewhat with administrations. So I just say we should be cautious. We cannot use these to be vindictive against certain organizations. And certain organizations change their faces depending upon who they're speaking to. These names have changed, and some of us have difficulty finding organizations because there's a different name listed here than what's traditionally in our documentation. So there's all kinds of factors that need to be considered. So I would just say that we need to be cognizant of the fact that these organizations are helping us. Nobody is getting rich off of what we do. We've got a, multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar budget, and we spend more time on community grants than anything else because we're nickeling and diming what we give to these organizations. And traditionally, when I've gone through it, I've given everybody something, but there are some, as the mayor coined, legacy organizations that have been with us as long as we've been around and have been serving us well. You may not like them. You may not like who runs it. You may not like who works there. Okay? There are personal issues crawling into all of this, and I say it should not. Based on what they do for the city and the residents of the city is the only thing that matters as far as I'm concerned. So we have, Madam Chair, I went through and put in all of the committee's recommendations, and then, of course, Caitlin had already done that. And you have that now in front of you. So if Alderwoman O'Neill has a motion for her recommendations, then we should move forward with it.
Okay. I'm not sure if you are ready to do that.
I mean, at this
Do you
point in
have
time,
numbers?
the only one that we've discussed was removing the funding from the Farm Unity Limited.
Okay, so we're still calling this Amendment 2, and we're trying to get some line items here. Okay.
Make clarity, we're removing the $2,000 from Farm Unity.
And adding it to the Live Water Foundation, or the Live Water Foundation.
Okay.
So that would increase Live Water from 12,000 to 14,000.
Okay.
They got 11,000 last year.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask if Alicia could come in, if that's okay, before we continue, because we have to establish what the parameters were. And then based on those parameters, I think we can have a better discussion. Assistant City Manager, is that something you can do? Yeah, I want to ask her, so that you understand and feel comfortable, how were the organizations, because that got community grants, how were they looked at? How did you look at possible overlaps? How did you look at doing a city initiative? And then I think you mentioned I'm moving ahead, but there was a question about the leases. Did you have, is that in your discussion?
That was part of the task force, was the
Okay.
benefits package as a whole, an organization, what is their entire benefits package?
This is not correct.
But I don't think that we have the data on that
Yeah.
because it never happened
Yeah.
through the task force.
I think the reason why I'm bringing her in is I think we have to feel comfortable with what we have. We can't, I don't believe we can, the other issues, again, I think we should bring before the council, but I think we definitely need to understand how the applications were looked at regarding these specific things.
Is there a particular time you'd like her here?
I think, do you want, are you,
I mean, we could break to see if she's available today and see if she could come in. You don't want her to come in this very second.
Your mic is
she'll
off.
come in unprepared.
Could you turn your mic on, please?
Sorry.
yeah,
Um,
that's, so let me make sure I have the list. First one was how were the applications weighed as far as the organizations receiving money from the community grants program? The second one was did the committee review overlap in the initiatives? For example, looking at food distribution or looking at recovery. And then the third one was did they look at what we can't do? In other words, if we have a Hispanic organization, is that based on us not having that, or vice versa? Am I correct, Alderman O'Neill?
correct.
Okay. But I think, did you want, okay, so let's continue, because that's what I have so far. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that okay so far?
Yes.
That helps you? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't there. I just put it in.
While you're looking, I think, just to append what Alderman Finlayson said, I think we need to make not us, the Finance Committee, but in the future, I believe we have to start limiting these applications. And I think the very first thing is, in a perfect world, tie these into first our initiatives from, oh boy, our strategic plan. This is what we want to help. We want to help the underprivileged, and, we want to help the arts. We want to do this. And then my hope would be from that, we go through this next time, or whatever, the task force says, okay, based on that, we've got to keep giving to these organizations. These are our, our heartbeat. And it would be, like, I feel that way about Maryland Hall. I feel that way about the Lighthouse Shelter, So, last year was I thought, whoa, that was not good to take on new and then have the existing be sort of, whatever, to make the math work. No, we should. And that would we definitely have to limit the applications then, because we have to, we would decide, look, we're going to maybe even increase. I think we're spreading ourselves too thin. How's that? In short, I think we're spreading ourselves way too thin. And to be fair to the community grant applicants, we might have to change our application guidelines or something. But again, we're not going to do that this fiscal year. But I strongly believe that there are organizations here that we should just focus on and keep it going and take care of these. One other example then is like the food deserts. Well, gee, why don't we give a lot of money to where it all comes from, which is the food bank? That kind of logic. So that's just my thoughts. We're not going to fix that today, but do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And then maybe allocate, I don't know who suggested this, maybe allocate some money to startups. Like you said, you called it something different. Alderman Finlayson?
Madam Chair, may I suggest that we put it in our tickle file to meet with the committee or the director in January to make sure that the guidelines for the community grants are clear and that the process is clear. This year it was a different process because we had new people who didn't know the old process. We had community organizations expecting the old process. And so all of that came together way late. And people are being penalized because of that when it's really an internal problem. And I contend that the finance department needs to be part of that discussion so that everybody is on the same page with when the applications go out, what notifications go out with them, and then what the qualifications are. And that, like you said, we do limit the number. We're over 50. For many years, we had 20, 25. In the last couple of years, it's continued to creep up because people realize we are giving out money. And not just loosely, but money's available and they live on grants. So wherever the grants are, that's where they go for the money. And we've seen that. So I suggest that we put it in our tickle file to come back to it early part of next year to make sure that this process moves smoothly, and that everybody gets to weigh in.
How does that reconcile with having a task force?
Well, I don't know what the task force is going to do, to be honest with you. They can give us recommendations, but and if they have their recommendations, by all means, then it can be utilized in the planning for next year.
Yeah.
But those recommendations still have to come before the council and have to be discussed and determined which is doable, which is not. So there's a lot of pieces, but by all means, their recommendations can come before the council, and then when we meet with the committees, then we have everything in hand.
Yeah. Okay, so it's sort of like a linear process, yeah. How do you want to proceed, Alderman O'Neill, on your revisions? And when do you want the answers?
I mean, I would see if we could get her in, today. Could she come in at 12? Could she come in at 12:15? Is that too short of a time frame? Do we have her come in tomorrow?
And then you'd be able to relook at your suggestions or your amendments?
Correct.
Yeah, I
Correct.
think that's what I'm hearing, is that you can't finalize your amendment until you know how these concerns were looked at. Are there any easy ones? Like two here, like the first one, where we can sort of get out of the way.
I mean, I was going to reduce Club 164 because I thought it was a duplication of what Serenity Sisters does. So I was going to take 2,000 from Club 164, who is not in the city, they are in the county. And I was going to add that to Serenity Sisters to get them closer to their ask.
I don't think I'd have a problem with that. On Club 164, was there any explanation on why the name? Not that it matters, but
It's
maybe
actually
it
a
does.
club. It's a
Location?
non-alcoholic, it's a
Right.
location. It's over across the street from the mall. And they're doing good work, but again, and I'm sure that people from the city go there, but they are in duplication and they are new. They're in duplication to what Serenity Sisters does. And going off of what Alderman Finlayson had said is, if you're an organization doing work that the city cannot do we really need two that are doing very similar things when Serenity Sisters has been a longer standing organization?
Alderman Finlayson, do you have any response to that?
Well, I
change?
guess my question is, I mean, I know Serenity Sisters. I've known Angel since she was in junior high school. And she's doing excellent work, but she will be the first to say that she can't reach everybody. She can't do this job alone. And so to say that because we have one, we shouldn't have a second one, I'm not sure that's, I don't want to say that. People are not in the city for good reasons sometimes, because they can't afford to be in the city. So their organization, nonprofits, have to go where they can afford the rent if they need a facility. So if they're on Bestgate Road or in Crownsville, that's where they can afford to be. Do we penalize them because of that? You know, we talk about wanting programs that will help those who have addictions. And then we say, yeah, but we have one program to deal with that.
Okay, can I respectfully say this, though? If we have one program and if they had more funding to increase their program, isn't that what you were saying about the legacy? Is that we need to fully fund them so that they can continue? What I'm saying is,
That's not what I said.
I think that was me when I said, let's establish which ones are legacy in the sense that we should keep giving to them.
okay, so Serenity Sisters has asked for a specific amount. They've asked for $47,000. And when she came before us to say, with that funding, they could increase their volunteer base, they could increase their staff, they could increase their outreach. And if they're a tried and true, as some of the others are, in the city, they have, their recovery center is in Ward 3. If they were able to increase all of those things, doesn't it make more sense, the power of the dollar, giving them more instead of watering it down across? Doesn't that make their organization stronger and more able to help more families?
Do you want me to answer? Of course, giving them more money is going to make them stronger. And I've been to their new facility on Solomon's Island Road. And they are doing phenomenal work. Do they need help? Absolutely they do, because addiction is rampant, okay? I'm sure that Angel would be the first to say, give that other organization the $2,000, because she recognizes the vastness of what she has been trying for many, 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 many years to do herself. And while she may not be considered a legacy organization, Angel Trainer is a legacy. I'll just say that.
Well, if we just FYI, if this is correct, we have this category, homelessness, addiction, and you could say these other organizations are addressing those issues. If I go down the committee's list, it's, CASA, Blessed in Tech, Club 164, Hope for All. But there's a lot on the next page. Serenity Sisters, Street Angel, the Lighthouse Shelter, We Care and Friends, so then we would have to reevaluate, where else are we addressing addiction? My personal feeling is I was overwhelmed with the presentations that were addressing addictions and what's going on out there. I don't know the answer, what Angel would say, but I think where we need the help where we can get it. I applaud any of these organizations that are gonna address that. Is it duplication? I don't know. That's something we can ask. But I'm not sure if this one is as clear cut as the others, like the whole eggs in one basket.
Okay, so my suggested amendment, whether you choose to accept it or not, is to remove the 2,000 from 164, Club 164, and add it to Serenity Sisters.
Just that one.
Oh, I thought we had already addressed the Unity Garden too.
No, I mean, just, hold on a second. I've got to get my bearings. What did they ask for?
I need something. I need a list in front of me. We're going to go through and vote on these amendments individually? Is that the plan?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts with Alderwoman O'Neill's
I'm happy to
suggestions.
adjourn right now and have them written down, and we can discuss them at another time. I mean, I think we're just talking in circles at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah, I think we need some information, and you do to finalize them, right?
Correct.
I don't know how you can come up with numbers when you have those issues, right? So were there any other easy ones? No, you know what I mean by easy ones, whether,
I will say that at this point in time, I will wait until we can get some additional answers from the Director of Community Services, and will submit a revised amendment.
okay, so if you do that, it would be, how do you do that if there's a duplication then? No, you're doing the net add, so it's fine. So Assistant City Manager, we have to give her a heads up on the questions we want to ask. So Alderman O'Neill, do you want to make a list of those questions and then we'll get them to her so that it's, productive decision-making?
I will do that.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I threw you off guard today, but I don't know how you could have come up with numbers unless you feel you get answers from the committee, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So when would you like to hear from the committee? Tomorrow, I guess, because you'll have to get your questions organized.
Is it possible to have the committee come and present tomorrow?
Are we going to
Ms.
adjourn? Are we going to come back after lunch? What's our process and what's the agenda for the rest of the meeting?
Today, my goal was to finalize this. That's not going to happen. That's going to carry over into tomorrow because we're going to get answers. We can't complete this today. Karma is going to get her questions together on the review process, so she can come to us. You have to have some kind of a base. Will you be able
Did we
to do
hear
an
that
amendment? Like, will you be able to do
Ms.
an
Young
amendment?
can't come this afternoon?
I'm checking with her now.
Okay.
Push it up, yeah. And to answer your question, whatever time we had left today, I wanted to just talk about moving forward on the report and how that was going to come together.
Okay.
So, or would you be ready for her to come in today?
If she can get that information. Sure. I have a hard stop at 1:30 today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So we have a council lunch at noon,
Correct.
Right, so,
so that means we'll be finished at noon.
Vicky, did you get enough, you didn't, did I relay those questions well enough for you, or?
So,
I'm sending you an email with the questions.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, okay, okay. So we'll get those to her. We could, maybe this can be an email thing. What the objective is for you to come to us with an amendment, with numbers on, with something to look at, and you can't do that unless you get those answers. Is there any way that this can be done in email form? You're nodding your head.
Yes.
So that tomorrow morning, first thing, you'll give us a amendment. Is that possible with numbers and based on your judgment from what you heard, or what the email responses were? How does that sound?
Sounds fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's
Thank you, Ellie.
Oh, no, I just want to know what the best way for you to finalize your numbers and stuff. Okay, so let's just put that away.
Madam Chair, on another important subject, if you haven't ordered your lunch, made your lunch choice, you better do it right away.
Does Director Dickinson,
Well, you weren't here. We're ordering lunch from the Big Cheese. It's a council lunch. It's not, it's not, it's a council lunch, so we're okay as far as, we're inviting you.
Oh, thank you. I brought things today, thank you.
Okay.
But like I
I
said
was like, are you
twice,
gonna ask me a question about, you paid for or something?
your lunch will last until tomorrow. Or your dinner meal, since you're gonna be here
Yeah,
until the end of
I
time.
brought enough lunch and dinner, thank you.
So,
Not that I don't like the big cheese.
do you want to keep going, and then we'll eat, and then we'll adjourn before we eat? Try to adjourn before we eat?
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
Okay, so, Kaylin, have you been kind enough to have a template in front of us of the report and for us to speak to? How far did you get on, you said you, I'm getting the look. You made a copy, and that's fine.
And I need it FY 25 so that we could,
Okay.
I can fill in as you guys go along.
Okay, so let's all look, it's on Google Documents.
Yes, it should be in your drive.
It should be in our
The one
Google.
we did last year. Or Docs.
Okay. Okay, we can do that. Docs.
So,
Why is it asking me to sign in? Yeah, continue as all document. Budget hearing. Oh, I see it. Oh, no, I see.
okay, and then I'll share the one I saw.
Yeah, I can. I have 23. It's not there yet, or what do you want to do? Okay. And let's confirm, in number 2 today is confirm the departments, because,
Okay, I'll share that with you too, the sheet that I did. for
yeah.
Madam Chair, we didn't invite any departments back, did we?
No, I mean, the only thing that really fell into that category from my notes was Office of Emergency Management, and
Yeah.
he responded by email on what that new person would do. Am I correct? Did you see any need to call anyone back? No?
Okay, everybody should have the one that I started. And we
Okay,
can
how do you
start from the
refresh
top
Google
together.
Docs? You just,
Still says fiscal 24.
Yeah, I literally started right there.
so you go
Oh.
in,
Now
you go
right
out.
here.
Go in,
Okay.
And then I'll go down, as you guys go down, I'll backspace and so you guys can see.
So do we have to update the budget process timeline, or are we gonna include that?
Where it, oh, I don't have it
Yeah, I
yet.
can change all the visuals.
Yeah,
for
let's,
wording.
where, I'm
There
not,
it is.
this one here?
Yes,
Oh, that's
try
it.
that.
I saw a 23 and I didn't
We'll
know.
see if it says May
Say-
24. Yeah, that's it.
May 29th, 2024 at the top is the one.
No, I still have, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, final
That's right.
update. Okay, I'm looking at this. Okay. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I think I can still do that. It's a little different this time because what I
That's
would
not
do.
saying the same. My date is May 29th.
If you go to your email.
What's your
it's
date?
easier.
May?
Yeah, I don't think,
It says May.
no, it says 23 on fiscal year 2024.
No, the
That's
next
not it.
line.
Look in your emails.
Yes.
She just shared it with you on
Or
email.
the last one, the top one, because that may be the new one.
Yeah, how do I refresh? Let me get out of it and,
Just
did
go
you
to
get
your
it on
email.
Google
She
Docs?
I got it
Go
on
to your
emails and I
email.
Okay, let's just go to
passed it.
email. Let's go to email, sorry. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Phew, open. And there we are. Okay. Yeah, you know why? I was looking at the Finance Committee's presentation and Mike Malinoff spent some time talking about how did we get here? And he's, he mentioned the survey and those things, those strategy sessions we have. So I can revise this. What I can do is, I don't know, can I get in there? I don't know how I did it before. If I can't do it myself, I'll just redline a hard copy or something of this schedule, Kaylin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we've talked about good news, bad news, and in this presentation, we did good news and challenges. So I suggest we stick to that good news
Yeah.
challenges for each department.
Okay. So, okay. Okay, so I'll do I'm not sure if we have another updated, Vicky, do we have another updated picture? I don't know if you're looking at our report. I'm sorry, I'm catching you off guard, but I cut and pasted this.
I'll show it.
Yeah, thank you. I don't mind doing that upfront stuff.
Last year, when we did our finance committee report, we used this visual from the retreat. Is there an updated one for the most recent retreat?
I don't think there's been an update of the visual.
Oh, is that the visual? I'm sorry.
There's
No, she's not typing.
underneath it.
That's all you.
Okay. So if we can just use this.
I wouldn't
right.
let you change it.
So, you know, as we go through this, let's just note
So
who's
it was
doing it.
confirmed that we can use this because.
It hasn't been updated.
It has not been
Okay.
updated. They used this same visual
Okay.
for this year's
Okay.
retreat.
So, put Ellie next to the slide, you know, however, okay. So Ellie up front, council budget process. So now I'm at the budget summary and the general fund. I think I'll do general fund. Okay, that's Ellie.
And
Okay.
that's good news, challenges.
Yeah, that's easy for me. I can just cut paste from Jody's presentation, but okay. Okay, maybe I'll get nerdy on the graphs. I don't know, but that I can just, Caitlin, I'll just tell you. Is it best just to go through you to get the graph from Katie? Helped me last. Budget manager Connolly helped me last year with the graphs.
But this,
Those graphs, yeah,
I'll just.
Next one
Put a
over.
note.
to ask.
Yep.
Ask, right? Okay, so was it, okay, so we agreed, we made, so it's good news and challenges. Okay. Okay,
This is the chart she was talking about.
And do we want to carry that down into each department?
I think that's the objective.
That was my suggestion.
So
yeah.
how detailed do you want me to get on? This stuff is all in Jody's slide. I'm on, I think it's really good picture-wise to talk about general fund revenue and expenditures, but then I go into this math on meeting. I mean, I can do that again. Do you think it's just too much? It just tells you that, yeah, we're meeting all of the policies, and this is how much money we have for capital reserves, and then this is how much money we have for one-time costs. Katie helped me, Budget Manager Connolly helped me with this last year, I believe, or did Director Dickinson?
You have that. Sorry.
I should have, yeah, no.
Budget Manager Conley, you have that tracker in your shared drive of what's available for those funds.
Can you just go in and plug in the new numbers on this under fund allocation to reserve, capital reserve?
Sure, do you want to share that?
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. That might be, oh, wow. That would be so great if you could just go in yourself, because you could replace the charts. I'm just giddy right now. Kaylin, right? We'll give her a free rein, yes,
I gave it to her.
yes.
How many charts are there?
Just a few,
It just makes sense that she plug in those numbers.
just a few. You
There's
know,
a
the
pie chart,
charts,
there's a,
revenue and
graph chart.
expenditures.
Well, if it's something
No,
we
no.
have already, yes.
Yeah, she's doing a switch, but, okay, so I think the math, are you with me on fund allocation to capital reserve and replenishing a budget stabilization fund? Is there a page number there?
4? There's no page number, so
Yeah,
can
how do
we
you get page
fix that
numbers?
also? Because it'll make it easier to find. This is.
So I believe this graph is what we used in our presentation when we kicked off these meetings, so I
The
can,
pie charts.
yes, ma'am, I can
Yeah,
replace
I'm
that.
not, yeah, I'm just asking you to replace with this year's. But Alderman O'Neill's gonna show you the fund allocation math.
Everybody else is on the iPad too.
Hers look like pages?
Does yours have page numbers?
No,
Yeah.
No.
You
no.
might have to, in order, this is you guys' docs.
Okay.
So,
So more importantly, who's putting in the order for the food?
I am. But
She can't do both.
yeah,
Oh, where's Regina? Maybe she can help us. Tell her we need her up here right away, and it's
Yeah.
not Sheila being sick.
okay.
Yeah, tell her
I don't want her to think there's an emergency.
You have a reputation. That's funny. So what did you show? The stabilization fund? Which one?
This, oh, so she's updating that, she has that, and this,
Oh, and this, and ARPA?
yes.
Okay, so that graph,
She says it's a different visual this year, but.
it's a different visual. That graph was projecting, a quote-unquote structural deficit, and that's not the case this time. So refresh my clogged memory. I thought Assistant City Manager worked hard on this one. I think she did the graph. Are you able to do that graph?
I can't recall. It's the last year in their report, the structural deficit graph. Did you do? If you did, let's save somewhere so we can update it to show the story this year.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Why do I have all these categories? It's fine. It's just sort of,
Salary benefits,
yeah. What was your cost of living increase? Was it 2.5% again?
You're just talking about inflation.
I'm on salary benefits classification.
So, are you talking about going into the 25 budget?
Yes.
Okay, so,
If it's I don't know if it's, this basically, we're in the same situation. We didn't get the study back, but we put in a 2.5% COLA, cost of living increase. Is that,
that was for last year and the year before, but for 25, we're not doing it that way. We're giving them a new scale. We're proposing new scales.
okay,
And in the scale, they are moving up at least, well, they jump onto the new scale, they'll get enough of a bonus to give them 2.5%, and then they get 3 or 4%.
did you have a slide on that?
No, because some of them are still in union negotiations. We did give you the non-rep scale and talk about the changes in the non-rep scale.
Okay. 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 I'll just have to put Ellie next
So-
to that, Ellie/Jody, so I can just write what she said.
The concept is the COLA and the merit are kind of combined into the same thing. Everybody moves up the scale every year. So we've folded both of those into the scale. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a cost of living increase, but it intends to keep them at pace with market and give them a merit increase every year.
Are you able to put that in a sentence right now so Kaylin can type it in? Right now it says, to calculate each department's budget, the director used a 2.5% cost of living. So
Not without
you'd have to edit that, right?
providing you information about union negotiation pay scales. I think that I could tell you what we've done for non-reps. And I think that you also would find it in one of my slides. I think I addressed it on one of my slides for the,
Okay, you know what
first
we're gonna
pres-
do? We'll just, you know what, we won't get into that minutia. I think I'm just gonna elaborate on the first paragraph, little paragraph there, which is true this time around. The budget includes, this budget, 25, includes a monetary placeholder for the possible impact of a reclassification study at this time. The contract has been awarded as of this
Take that
writing.
out.
I would say the contract is nearing completion.
Okay. Are you editing, Kaylin? Oh, no, are you?
Right here, that's the sentence that's not accurate. It's outdated. Contract has been awarded. Well, they're almost finished with the contract, so she's saying that
Yeah, I'm just writing a general statement. Is that okay, you know, that you,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just let me know what you need me to fill in the blanks, because like I said, I can give you the detail on the non-rep scale and what it does, but I couldn't give you the detail on the unions.
well, okay, we can go back and forth on email on that one, so just put Jody/Ellie on that, even though I want to keep it general.
But couldn't we say that the salary scale is being reworked or
Yeah.
revised? We don't have to say anything. I'm sorry, Jody, I can look at your face. Obviously, you don't.
Well, so, what can I say and what can I not say?
Never mind.
Yeah.
No. So we're approaching all of the groups in the same way.
Yeah,
But until they tentatively agree on what we've proposed, we really don't have anything. And if they didn't tentatively agree, we'd have to fall back to some other model. So I can just say we're approaching them in the same manner. That's all I can say to you.
we're reporting to the city council as simply as possible the basis of your placeholders. So you might not be able to do that right now. You might need to just think about that and come back to me. Okay, you know what I mean?
I could try to write something that's very general.
Yes.
And give
Yes.
you as much facts as I can without crossing the line, but that's not something I can do on the fly right now.
No, not right now, but I think we can say something, more specific than what it says right now, but not too much. Okay. And
You
can
were
just-
correct in the placeholder comment that you made about the dollar amount, the placeholder for the class and comp study.
Yeah.
But as far as the way we're approaching the pay scales, I can't,
Is that something you want to say to the city council? I mean, that you want us to relay, or do you want to keep it general? I know we're talking in circles now, but I don't know how much detail you want to get into.
the only way I would want to relay any of that to council is if we had a separate meeting that was closed
okay,
to talk about the detail.
So then, yeah, okay, so we're fine. Just we're going to delete the last sentence, and I think it's,
I'll try to write something general for
yeah,
what's out there.
okay.
Do we have a deadline for when those negotiations are to be completed? Or are we continuing to have a placeholder through the end of the budget?
I am not aware of a deadline. So until we have agreements, the placeholder is what it's going to have to be.
So it won't be an amendment or anything at this point.
Madam Chair, there is a deadline in the code that says the contract negotiation should be finished prior to the mayor's presentation of his budget. It was January originally, we moved it back, and we've not adhered to it for years. But there is a deadline in the budget.
Yeah, for this and the
Thank you.
unions.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
All union negotiations.
oh, right, yeah.
Sorry.
And-
Lyles is here.
But we revisited that last year with discussions, and it was elected not to revise the code.
It's just frustrating to be
It,
coming down
it
to the
might be
wire.
useful to have a separate closed session to talk about
Yeah,
what process we're in with each one and where they're all at.
yeah,
That's what I would recommend.
yeah.
So that would give you more of a comfort as to where everything is, what's in the budget specifically, and where the placeholders are, and what we know to date.
Can we request that the city manager set up that closed session meeting sooner rather than later?
I'm seeing Regina nod her head. Yeah, I will check in regarding the procedure for doing that. Yes.
It's funny, it seems eons ago, but I remember last year, there was one position that we were focused on, and somehow the city manager got the company or whoever to say, just focus on this right now, and we got that answer. So yeah, we need to know where they're at, this as of this writing of the report. Okay, so it looks like yeah, that's an Ellie Jody thing. And then the debt capacity, let me, let's kind of breeze through the whole thing, and then we'll put Ellie next to that. I'll come up with something, and then when we get together, we'll talk about it. How's that? Okay.
Well, does there need to be something more said than what's already there?
On the debt capacity, yeah, I think I
Yeah.
have some notes, and so I don't, I put my name against that one. I just all this upfront stuff, and that kind of ties into, I think, DPW and IDPW. So now I just want to go through and department.
Assign the departments.
Yeah. Put Ellie next to department presentations, and I'll write up something on how that. Yeah, it might be kind of the same. I know that they were asked for mission essential enhancements. I might need to review Budget Manager Connolly's document to them. Could you send me that again? Somehow I lost that, what you sent to the departments several months ago.
The planning document, the planning memo?
It was to the department saying, budget time, this is
Yes.
what, yeah.
I'll forward it to you.
You did, and somehow I got it lost in another folder. Because that helped me write this, like what we asked the departments to do. Okay, so, the way we did it last year is we were focused on enhancements. So what we're suggesting this year is that instead of enhancements included in the mayor's budget, we were doing good news, and then we were going to do challenges, if applicable. Do we want to put the committee's recommendations under each department head, or do we want to have a separate list of our recommendations? Now, keep in mind, the code, these should be clear because that's what we owe the city council per code. Essentially, we could just give them a list of our recommendations and be done with it. But, City Attorney Michael Oz, I'm sorry. Are we in trouble?
Just watching.
You're just watching? Okay. I didn't know if you had something to,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just say hello.
Thank you for being here. So do we agree, we have to agree, let's come to some agreement on, under each department, what we want to say.
So in last year's, we had, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm done.
Under each individual department, we talked about it, and then at the end, it is summarized in general. If you scroll to the end, you'll see that we did a summary, final recommendations with proposed amendments. Having
Yeah, so
budget
they're
impact.
summarized one place.
Yes. So we did the individual recommendations, and then anything that had a budget impact is at the bottom. Was that helpful to the council? Do we know?
Well, sharing this, that at that meeting, what I found that you want to get right to those recommendations.
Maybe that goes at the top of the report then.
Well, then you don't even need to continue talking, right? Boy.
I mean, every city council member has access to the presentations.
Correct. So that was my logic in not having to go through and pull out the enhancements and all that, and having these new categories of, what's good new. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, let's pretend. Let's start with the first one. Let's pretend. So we have fire department. Is there a way? What would you say, like, good news and challenges were? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth on these headings. Alderwoman Finlayson?
Last year, there were a number of enhancements that were not included in the mayor's budget. This year, almost all enhancements were included. So I'm not sure we need enhancements included in the budget so much as we need good news, bad news.
I totally agree with you.
So to say the good news and then the challenges, and if there's a committee recommendation to list it at that time, and then to come back as we did last year at the end in our executive summary to highlight the recommendations that we're making.
Absolutely.
So we say it and then we come back and we tell you what we've told you.
Yep. I totally agree. Alderwoman O'Neill? Okay. So to help us out, oh, you're pink. Oh, my God.
You didn't see me, Alice?
I got my earrings on.
Trying to glow.
It's got the earrings on. So what we'll ask Caitlin to do is just, change those subheadings, right, to get us going. And, okay, so today let's just continue and assign the departments, because I'm still not clear on which ones I have. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, so fire department is all,
That's Sheila.
okay. Okay.
And I think I had police.
Okay, you want to go?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're going down the list?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
And we have to add off, central services. Okay, Recs and Parks, I don't have that list in front of me. Does anybody have that list in front of them?
I'll get it.
I can't multitask.
So who had Recs and Parks? I don't remember.
I have a feeling that was you, Karma. I don't remember writing this.
So,
Isn't that funny? We don't remember what
I
we
know.
wrote.
just had it. She
Bet
put
you
it
we
on
remember
here.
those
Hang on.
grants, though. So Alderwoman Tierney, are you doing Recs and Parks? Is that what I just heard you say?
I think it's
it
Karma.
was
She's
me.
just
Oh,
verifying.
okay.
Here we go. Sorry. Rec and Park is Karma.
Okay. All right, the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that might be me. Was that me?
I have city manager, mayor. It's funny, we don't have mayor on here.
Surely we had a list of who we,
Here's the list right here,
oh,
but we don't have mayor is not on it. Put mayor on me because I also have city manager and those,
Kinda makes
they
sense.
kind of go hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you, Karma.
Next,
OEM.
Sheila.
Oh, I remember last year, I was really proud of their substance use efforts, so I asked Kevin for that chart, and he was very gracious to supply it, because he's very proud of his work, and he should be.
Next,
What's next? Transportation?
Karma.
Okay. And, some of the good news, I imagine would be the enhancements included, possibly, but probably mostly related to their performance measures or something.
Madam Chair, are we listing the enhancements based upon our opinion or what the directors gave us?
Oh, I thought we weren't going to do that. I thought you wanted to just do good news and challenges and not list the enhancements, because you said
Well-
that they all had them in them. I thought,
But the good news for some of them are there enhancements that are included in the mayor's budget.
right, that's what I thought, that you could list
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah, okay, thank you, just want to be clear.
And Alderwoman Pendle Charles, chime in, because you're sort of the recipient of the report as well. And what we're trying to do, our philosophy is everyone has access to the report, and and they should at least skim it. I mean, not the report, the budget.
Right.
They should at least, right? So we didn't want this year, we didn't want our report to be sort of like cliff notes. We wanted to go right to the heart of it, saying, this is what we heard that was good, this is what we heard that were challenges, and from that, these are our recommendations. And then we just go through that way. So just wanted to let you know what we were doing.
Okay.
Next
thank-
department.
Thank you.
Yep, planning and
sense.
zoning.
Karma.
Wow, where am I?
Planning and
I
zoning.
know, well, I had all that up front.
Yeah, you had all the up top stuff.
Office of Law.
And Karma.
MIT.
Sheila?
Oh, yes.
ITS.
ITS. Who, he still is looking for his ball. Did you give him one this year?
I thought I gave him,
Well, that was like-
I have them in the
That
office.
was like last Thursday or something.
Okay.
So is that O'Neill?
ITS is Sheila.
Oh, okay. That's Sheila.
You okay? Okay. I mean, let me know if we're not okay with it. Like, you know,
I'm-
if you like,
I'm fine,
if I
yeah.
totally like zoned out of a
If you need to
presentation,
spell
I'll let you
Finlayson
know.
correctly.
What does she do?
What's the next one?
Finance.
Finance is you.
Okay, we have to wait for Regina to catch up with us.
Oh. Finance is Ellie.
Yeah. Okay, police?
Holy Sheila.
Is Sheila.
You've got hard ones.
FIN.
Sheila's got hard ones. Oh, no, I shouldn't talk. I got DPW. Yeah,
Yes. Ellie has DPW.
yeah. Can I put a bug in your ear? Of course, I'm saying it publicly. On DPW, he added staff where he could get it reimbursed, so he added an engineer against stormwater, and remember? One thought I had, and just for you guys to think about before we do this, is from that list of capital projects, I just think that there's basis to ask for another project manager. Just something to think about, okay? You didn't hear me, or did you? Anyways, it's just, human resources.
Karma.
And we have city manager. Oh,
Karma.
that has other stuff in it. Okay, it does have those 4 subcategories, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is all David Jarrell stuff. Alrighty. Or maybe I did this. Anyways, I have capital budget.
Yes.
Yeah, I know David Jarrell he gave me like an update on all of the projects. I don't think I'm gonna get that from Burr, but. Okay. Oh, we caught up? Yeah.
Community grants
Yeah.
is Sheila.
Okay. Oh, yeah, last time they gave us their matrix, so I don't know
That was partially what I asked for
this year.
Aisha to talk about when she comes back in.
Yeah, so that would be good we'll take good notes there for the grant committee process.
Next.
Oh, we put it in here. Do we want to do that? Or,
We put the whole list of grantees in there, yes.
Is it Finance Committee recommendations, the last column?
And we have that.
Oh, no, wait a minute, I'm confused. This is final recommendation of.
From us.
It is? It's not clear. It's because it says community grant awards currently in the mayor's budget. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? It's not.
was last year's. So what's, yeah,
Oh, because we accepted it.
we made changes, but this is what we finalized for our recommendations.
Okay. We probably should be more clear, just the fact that I'm questioning it, Finance Committee recommendations in the third column. Or add a
Well,
fourth.
this is our report, so, I mean,
Oh, no, yeah, but it's confusing, I think, because it says community grant awards currently in the mayor's budget. So you definitely look at that and say, oh, okay, that's all the mayor's budget. We should either add a column with ours or put ours in this column and change the title, right? Right? Do you agree? Because it looks like that's just, we cut and pasted what was in the mayor's budget.
I'm not sure what your question is. The chart is last year's chart.
the final recommendations are the final recommendations from the committee. You want to, so we're not going to change this. Our document as it stands has the recommendations that we approved this morning, which has the final column labeled Finance Committee recommendations.
Right. So I just want clarification of the headers, because whose final recommendations?
Ours says the Finance Committee recommendations.
Okay, so let's just change that header then to say.
This is the old chart, remember? You're not looking at the new one that we approved.
Oh, right. But yeah, just to be clear that they're ours. And all I'm saying is this doesn't look clear that they're ours. It looks like it's,
Last year's is not
This
clear
is
that
the-
it's ours.
that's all I'm
So
saying.
This is
year we
last
have-
year's chart. We're not going to be using it.
I know. Okay, so whatever chart we use, just make sure that it's clear that there are recommendations.
Yes.
Sorry, we're not editing this. Whew, okay. I
Yeah.
know. All right. All right. So enterprise funds, I guess those are Ellie because they go hand in hand.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, Office of Central Services, what is it called?
It's going under Sheila.
Social,
Central
Central
Service.
Services, yes.
The new office,
Yeah,
Central Service
Yeah,
is
we'll
going
add
under
that.
Sheila.
we'll add a department. Did we forget anybody?
Are you doing it or you, I mean, I'll do it if you're,
It's on this list as you doing
Is it distributed fairly?
Central
I know I was being a
Services.
martyr. Why did I?
we didn't have Central Services last year, or
it.
you
I know, but
updated
this,
it.
yeah, Kayla updated the Finance
Okay.
Committee report assignments.
That's
grid.
fine.
And keep in mind, when we come together, we'll help each other,
Exactly.
I had this and all that. Okay, so then, in the same order, yeah, this is where we put our recommendations, so we don't, I believe, we don't, contrary to last year, well, let me ask, we have the two headings under each department, good news and challenges. Do we want to just not mention recommendations until the end? Okay, so contrary to last year, okay.
So that last year, the recommendations, or this year, the recommendations will be very clearly the last page. So if
Yeah.
another council member
Yeah.
wants to read nothing except for that,
Exactly,
they
Yeah.
can.
yeah. But I think it's good, it's a good year. We should be optimistic and good news, and that we still have a lot of challenges. So I think that's important. Okay, still figuring out how I did this chart, but anyways, where are we now?
So
We're done.
adding Central Services.
Okay, so, let's kind of sort of plan the week then, real quickly, based on this. Okay, go. What do you suggest? Today's Monday. Tomorrow we our goal is to definitely finalize community grants with as amended. And I guess my understanding is we don't call anyone in, you're going to try to get that done by email tonight? Does that work for you? And then you'll come to us tomorrow with an amendment. That hopefully we can get through. And tonight's a council meeting, so I don't know how much homework you guys are going to get to, but after that, what are you thinking to spend our time?
I think that after we finalize community grants, we'll spend the time pulling together our individual reports so that Wednesday.
Okay, so we do that like at home, like off mic? Or do we just sit here and do our own reports? I know it's a technical question, but I don't know how.
What time is Ms. Young able to meet with us?
I thought she was, and I thought she was answering our questions by email.
Yeah, Karma was going to talk to her.
Well, Ms. Buckland was reaching out to her. Do we know what time she's going to be here tomorrow?
I'm sorry, the last I heard, I thought we were doing this via email.
Correct, yeah. We were going to go.
So Ms. Young's not going to be here?
Correct.
Oh, okay, then it's all on us then.
She's going to answer the questions.
So that Karma can
That we
come
put
to us
forward.
tomorrow morning with her amendment.
Okay.
So she's doing that. So I can get at least one of them done this afternoon or something that we can talk to tomorrow. Could everybody commit to doing at least one department today?
Yes.
One department today?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. At least one department each, and then we'll take care of those tomorrow. And gosh, how many departments are there? 15?
There are not that many departments. We have several offices that should be
Sorry, yes.
departments.
Oh, well,
But are
yes.
not, but they're treated like departments
18.
in the budget.
19.
Okay, so.
19 report,
so we-
portions of the report, basically. So if we can get through 6 tomorrow, we can get through 6 on Wednesday and 6 on Thursday to finalize the
Yeah.
report. If we could do
That's
that.
aggressive. That's aggressive for tonight because of the council meeting, but I mean, yeah. So,
I say we take the time tomorrow and go through. Because we're not going to do much, at least I'm not, I can only speak for myself.
yeah, I mean, that's where I said that tomorrow I would, I would expect each of us maybe to just, if we could get to one, so we have 3 to look at tomorrow, and then we'll have to make up the difference.
Well, are we looking at these to evaluate them? I mean, we're just
Well-
regurgitating the information that the department heads have given us. And that was my earlier question. Are we going to rewrite their?
No.
Okay, so we're just rewriting what they've already told us.
Well, no, that was, that's what we tried to avoid by these new headings.
Right.
So we get their presentation, we extract from it good news, and then challenges.
But they were the headings that they used in their reports to us. Did they not?
So
I thought
then
that's
it's
where we got them
summarizing that
from.
for our report.
Okay, I didn't see it that way. I didn't see that their presentations were exactly formatted that way. Were they? I mean, we're talking in circles again. I don't want to duplicate. I just wanted it to be brief and to the point, and I thought we agreed good news and challenges was the best way.
We did.
Okay. So, okay, let's commit to each doing one tonight, and then let's get together tomorrow and do your amendment, do the 3 departments, and hey, if we had time, we can cheat and do one together, right?
Correct.
Madam Chair, you have a lot of writing to do with the report, with the
Yeah, that upfront stuff, yeah, but that's.
headings, and at the end with the Public Works, capital
Well-
improvement.
Yeah, that's gonna be some work at night, so I might ask you if I could have till Thursday for that stuff. you know,
I'll give a, for instance, as for planning and zoning, we have a list of about 9 highlights. And I was going to just take a couple of the highlights. One, I believe that changing his operation, the operational changes that they're making
right,
is
Yeah.
a good news.
Yeah.
And that the challenges are, and he's got them. I've got like 3 challenges that will
Yeah.
be,
like ITS, a general, good news is the interface with other departments, you know, that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
a summary of what
Yeah.
they discussed, but not a complete
yeah.
rewrite.
And, you know, maybe, you know, to save, you know, to make the best use of time here, maybe, I know I'm backpedaling here, but maybe we can do some together. Right? Okay. Let's see what we get done. and then-
Alderwoman Pindell Charles.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I have a question, and I'm just kind of listening and thinking. As usual, we always do have a balanced budget. This year, we have added quite a few positions to the budget, which seems to be fine on overall, based on what I've heard. So can I assume somewhat that none of the challenges are going to be financial in nature? Sort of,
There
kind
are
of.
some departments, I don't know, for example.
I don't want to hold you to anything. I'm just
yeah,
asking a
there's-
question.
I think we have to look at that. It's a good
Okay.
question where additional staff, like I just brought up an example, you know, the challenge under DPW is to get these capital projects to completion. And what would it take to do that? Possibly another staff member. I don't, you know, does that answer your question? We just need to look at it.
Right.
Yeah,
Each,
it's not-
each situation is different.
I think so.
Right.
I think so. Do you agree? Yeah.
The only thing I'm saying is, from what I gather in many years past, there were some financial challenges. I would assume they're not as acute this year as they have been in some years past. I'm just kind of throwing that out
Right,
there.
and Jody explained that, you know, because of the assessments, and other revenue sources, and grants helping us out, we're not in a dire, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what happens when the ARPA runs out? So, yeah, it's
Okay.
not, but there's still, we still need to keep a quote-unquote balanced budget. so-
Absolutely. Thank you so much to Director Dickinson for holding us to the line.
Right, that's, we're in.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, I had requested, and we may have it, a list of all of the new positions. I think it would be helpful to include that in our report
Yeah, you have a slide on it, I think.
for a couple of reasons. One, to show that we're able to add those positions as needed and stay within the budget. And secondly, our enterprise funds are going up. The fees are going up. And so we need to be able to show that we're doing our part to make sure we have adequate staff while we're just not having an increase in the fees. But we are making sure that there is adequate staff to take care of the work that's being done. So I think that's a two-sided coin. And Ms. Dickinson is not frowning at me right now.
No, I was just going to offer, I do recall we do have a list of new positions, but we were going to put dollar amounts to them, and we would also want to tell you which fund it's going to impact, so we can prepare something like that for you.
Oh, great,
for your
okay.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
because your slide isn't,
Thank you.
yes, because this is what they had in their slide. So you would want,
I've just gone through a couple of the presentations and,
so this is positions added, but you want to know the dollar amount as well, or do you?
oh, yeah,
Okay.
and to which fund? These are
This is
general
general,
funds and then
that's
enterprise funds.
fund.
But she just said the dollar amount was not included in each of those, so they're gonna get that.
Right. Yeah, so you just have to expand on your page 25. Okay. So what's so let's okay, so our goal then, this week, I'm back to this thing, even though we're not using it. Gosh, no, we're not going into, oh yeah, okay, this is us, sorry. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're still, yeah, and then we should have a report by Thursday. The end of Thursday, is that doable? That's it, okay. Okay,
And then there's nothing until,
yeah, we need a break.
yeah, wow. Absolutely.
Oh, wait, here we go. There's nothing until the Finance Committee budget report due at regular city council meeting, May 13th. And then it gets crazy with amendments and stuff like that, but we've done our part.
Well, that's when amendments are all due, the 13th or the
15.
15th,
15th.
yeah. Okay,
So the meeting on the 13th is not, that's a finance committee, but their
that's a city
amendments
council.
don't need to come to us. They're full council amendments, right?
Right, yeah, no, they don't come to us.
So that's not a date of,
Oh, no, we're done the 13th. This is
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
whole budget timeline. Which is weird, because it stretches all the way to June 10th.
yeah.
Okay.
Because they have to have time to
So
input.
It's like after Thursday.
Yeah,
We're good.
we're good. We're good. So I think this abbreviates it a little bit more, and it isn't too much for me. I mean, a lot of it is editing. The capital projects is the one that I have to think about what I'm gonna do, so. All right, are we all good? Is that lunch? Oh my gosh. All right, is there anything else for the good of the order or clarification? Do we know what we're doing? Good, we're good? Are we
Motion
good?
to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
And I'm sorry.
All in favor
didn't
signify
hear.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty, we've got